Hey, and welcome to Board with Life News for September 20th. Today I'm going to talk about Discovery, the Era of Voyage, Liftoff, Mississippi Queen, an expansion for El Dorado, and the Kickstarter for Things from the Flood. Let's get to it. Discovery, the Era of Voyage is coming out from the Taiwanese game publisher Emperor S4 at Essen this year. This was originally published in a very, very small print run at the Tokyo Game Market in 2015 by a Japanese designer. It's a pick up and deliver area majority game that's very, very small. It'll fit in a small box. In it you are traveling in circles either clockwise or counterclockwise around different locations and putting your influence on them, getting different benefits, and picking up and delivering different goods. Also, you have area majority on that stuff. The stuff from the Tokyo Game Market always fascinates me. There's all sorts of cool, weird ideas. There's all sorts of cool little games. But they also vary widely in quality in terms of like how good or bad they are. I guess you understand what the word quality means. I will say that Emperor S4 is probably one of the best Asian publishers out there. They have a really good track record with a bunch of their titles, so that gives me quite a bit of confidence in this game. There's no word yet on if they're going to have a US distribution for this game, so Essen might be your only chance to get it. However, Deepwater Games has been bringing over all of the Emperor S4 titles, so hopefully they bring that over as well, but we'll see. Liftoff is coming out from Hans M. Gluck. In this game, it takes place during the 1950s, 1960s kind of space race happening. It's from first-time designer Jeroen van der Steen, which he interestingly works for the European Space Agency, so he obviously has some pretty good insight on kind of the space race and also how that stuff works, I guess. So it's interesting to see a game coming out from him. There's not a lot of information about the mechanics of the game. It's card drafting and set collection, so who knows what that'll wind up being. But I really like the kind of retro aesthetic of the cover, so hopefully they continue that throughout all the board or cards or whatever's going on in the game. Mississippi Queen is getting an update from Super Meeple. Mississippi Queen is a pick-up and deliver game that won the Spiel des Jahres back in 1997, so that's a long time ago. I'm realizing that's 21 years right at this moment in time, and that seems insane. But Super Meeple is bringing it back into print. Super Meeple is known for kind of taking games that usually have previously been released and doing like insane component updates to them. Just really, really, really nice production. Their versions of Mexica and Tikal that they put out, Super Meeple did, are some of the kind of like most impressive implementations of games in general. Like the pieces are amazing, all of it's just so well done. So I'm very excited to see kind of an old classic get some new life and hopefully reach a new audience with this new re-release. El Dorado Heroes and Hexes is the first expansion for Rainer Knizia's Spiel-nominated The Road to El Dorado. In this, it's going to add new tiles, new cards, new pieces, all the kind of things you would expect, as well as a new mechanic that deals with curses, where in the game, it's a kind of racing game, it's a deck-building racing game, where you're playing cards to move across a board, and there's different challenges as you go. There are now going to be curse areas of the board, which are free to move into, but you get a random curse, which might be you're paralyzed temporarily, or it might be that you get a demon or a demon space and curse. Anyways, demons, curses, it's one of those. You either get a demon card or it's a demon space and you get a curse card. Either way. And that's just like a trash card that goes in your deck that just slows down your deck building engine in it. I really liked The Road to El Dorado when it came out. I still like it, and it is a very expandable, being that it is a deck-building game with a modular board. It's ripe for expansion, so I'm excited to see it get some new stuff. This week's Kickstarter is for Things from the Flood. This is an RPG. It's the sequel to last year's smash hit that sold incredibly well, won a ton of awards, Tales from the Loop RPG. They're using more of Simon Stålenhag's artwork that was so beautiful and amazing and evocative for Tales from the Loop. So much so that Amazon is now making a TV show, an Amazon original TV show based off of his artwork and that world, which is pretty incredible. Anyways, Things from the Flood is going to your teenagers in the 90s as opposed to kind of like pre-teens in the 80s, which was Tales from the Loop. I will say Tales from the Loop is one of the like best put together RPG books I have. Obviously the artwork's incredible, but all the layout and everything is so well done, and it's also very, very well written. It has some really, really good chapters on kind of like how to build a mystery and stuff like that for the game master that I got a lot of information out of that can then be applied to like all RPGs in general. So hopefully Things from the Flood stays up to that quality, and yeah, it's $39 right now on Kickstarter, so if you're interested in that, go back that. Alright, that's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for board game news every single week, and make sure you follow me on social media. I'm at Chris Bryan Games on Instagram and Twitter so that you can stay up to date with all that stuff. Also, I run a Patreon. If you're interested in backing me, there's a link in the description below. I would very much appreciate that. This week's question comes from @BeardedRogue via Twitter, and they say, do you think that companies may start spreading releases out throughout the year to get more attention for each individual game? Or do you think we will continue to see them concentrated on at Gen Con and Essen? Yes to both. I think publishers will start spreading games out throughout the year, and I think we will continue seeing more and more games getting released at Gen Con and Essen. There are too many games coming out. Like, the pie of the board game and tabletop world keeps growing at a pretty consistent rate. It's growing like 10% to 15% every year, which is great. So the pie is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but the slices of the pie are getting so much smaller. You know, if board games now, say, are 2 times as big as they were 10 years ago, which I don't know, I'm just pulling that out of my ass. I have no idea if that's accurate or not. There's probably 10 times as many publishers and at least 10 times as many games. So even though there's more money, there are more people taking that money. So it's not like, I don't think board games are like a bubble that's going to burst and all of a sudden like, oh, the industry will fail and we won't have that. But I do think that the rate at which the number of board games coming out keeps increasing and the number of publishers starting keeps increasing. I do think that something's going to happen there. I don't know what. Maybe that's publishers become kind of more boutique where they're only interested in selling, you know, a kind of small number of games, but they're very specific for their specific crowd as opposed to everyone trying for everything. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's over 800 games already listed as being released at Essen this year on the Board Game Geek kind of preview. That number will go up. That's crazy. That's a crazy number of games to come out all at once. And it's impossible to like take all of that in. And it's very, very overwhelming. So I don't know. Like, I think those conventions will keep getting bigger. There will be more releases. I think some publishers that now are seeing that maybe 5 years ago they were having a lot of luck having a big title come out at Gen Con or Essen, and it getting, you know, wide acclaim. Now maybe you're seeing those titles getting looked over just because there's so many. So I think that from a marketing and business standpoint, it's only smart to kind of like look at other avenues to get your eyes on your game. So I think that will happen because out of the necessity of, you know, you have to sell these things. Otherwise, obviously, you know, you can't make money and then you can't make games. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel a lot of us feel the industry is just kind of at a weird spot right now where it's kind of figuring out how to be what it is. So yeah, I don't know. That was a weird answer. Sorry. Good question. Thanks for asking it, and I'll see you next week.